mission, on mission. Trying to get it right. Transition. Changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission. On a mission. Trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life. Making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Ooh, 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 ooh. Making a transition. Trying to mission, a mission. I'm on a mission. On a mission, I'm trying to get it right. Changing the way that I see life. Transitioning my life. On a mission. On a mission. On a mission.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Alchemizing Energy. Listen, I know my last live, I have a mostly male audience, and I can see that people did not like that last transmission. It was talking about the DL life, and people didn't like it. I see a few people even unsubscribe from my channel from that. But if anyone knows anything about me, I'm interviewing everybody. I'm doing content about everything. I'm not going to do the typical content about what's going on. I'm going to do some stuff. It's going to be about different subjects. I'm not going to adhere to, well, just keep it on one subject and the YouTube algorithm is going to send people your way. The ones that really want to that's really like me, that have ADHD, that are into all kind of different stuff, will enjoy a channel like mine that has no clear, direction. So I like just pick out subjects that I think is interesting, right? So that was interesting. And so now I want to get into the subject of Chinese face reading. So earlier today, I did the subject on DL, did an interview with DL Whisper. I hope to do an interview with this doctor that we're going to bring up some of the face reading techniques he did. And when you see this, what he have done, like when he's able to break down the face, and you see how he's able to just cut the face in half and look and see how people look on one side versus the other, it is going to blow your mind. But first, we're going to go through a video that's going to show you a 5-minute way on how to read a face. And this is a great skill to have, I think. So let's go.
Read your face in 5 minutes. First off, forehead. Oftentimes the thing that we catch first or notice about a person. Do you have a short forehead or a long forehead? A short forehead is somebody who's a practical thinker. They tend to have gone through the process and they learn by doing. And so they have a very practical sense. If you are out on the street and you need directions, ask a person with the short forehead because they'll tell you very clearly and easily how to get back on the freeway. Now, if a person has a long forehead, you are going to be much more analytical, much more intellectual, oftentimes even sometimes stuck in the head, thinking through problems or needing a long time to make a decision, needing a long time to process information before you get clarity on how to act. This is not the person that you want to ask for directions when you are looking for the freeway. They'll give you a convoluted, circuitous route to get there and you'll get confused. Next, the eyes. The eyes are about how we ingest the world and information. So a person who has big, wide eyes is really interested in everything. They're taking it in. A person who has more narrow, squinted eyes is maybe overwhelmed by too much information, or they can't take any more in. How about the nose? Well, there's lots of aspects about the nose, but the nose in a general tidbit is about how independent you are versus how cooperative you are. A person with a very large nose is going to be a really good leader. They're willing to take risks. They're willing to make mistakes, but also oftentimes they are really good risk takers and they're used to making and taking risks. So they would be a good person to put in charge of things. A person with a smaller nose is going to be, I guess I'd say, more content with life and more content to cooperate. Nostrils. Nostrils are kind of interesting in that there is this idea that the nose is a piggy bank where you put the coins in is at the bridge of the nose. So if a person has a really nice, large, wide bridge, they're lucky. They can take in large quantities of money at a time. Where the coin would come out would be the nostril. And so a person with large nostrils tends to be really generous. They are free with spending money. If a person has more narrow nostrils, they're a bit more conservative and tend to feel better about spending less. All right, lips. Lips are about sensual pleasure. They are the external manifestation of the digestive organs. Big lips, oftentimes they enjoy eating, kissing, sexual experiences. If they have big lips, they're interested in more sensual pleasure, enjoying the moment, and savoring a meal. If they have a wide mouth, they like more of it. If a person has a narrower mouth, they can only take in smaller bits. They also need potentially to have shorter, smaller meals in between, whereas a person with a wide, large mouth can take in lots of sensual pleasure. They can take in a really large meal and they might not need to have several throughout the day. Okay, so the ears. The ears indicate how much physical stamina we have and how strong our spirit is. So if you take your ear and you push it this way, if it's very closely attached to your head, it means that you have pretty good physical stamina. Approaching the ear from above and pulling it down, how does that feel? Is there a lot of give or not very much give? What is the texture of your ear? Because it's the external manifestation of the kidneys are about our deep resources. The kidneys would be considered our savings account of our body. And so a person with really small ears or not very strong cartilage in the ear would suggest a person who has finite energy reserves, whereas a person with really strong ears has a good, hardy physical constitution. Comment below, what kind of ears do you have?
So with that being said, and shouts out to her channel. Her channel is called what's her channel called? Wise Heart Connects. Wise Hearts Connect. So please check her channel out. And she gives the introduction. So I wanted to like just give an introduction on how this is done. And now we're going to go into a few celebrities. And so because I didn't want to just jump right into celebrity face reading without at least people understanding, okay, what is he basing this on, right? So let's start off with Jay-Z. Okay. What does his face say? Right? Now this was blowing my mind. The way that he broke Jay-Z's face down tripped me out. So let's go into his face. Okay, let's go.
Probably of all the faces being requested, this was the guy that was requested the most. So I was forced into reading this guy's face. Interesting face. So there's 9 face shapes. He's a cross between a tree face. That's the length of his face. Tree faces, deeply rooted, but they like to grow on their own. They like to be trimmed back. Wouldn't want to be the guy that tries to do the hedge trimmers on this guy. Well, it's not going to bode well for him. And he's got some real narrowness to his chin. So there's a lot of fire energy. So he's very sensitive, likes to grow on his own, and he's very, very sensitive. The next thing I want to pay attention to is the right and left sides of the face. The right side is what we show to the world, our right eye. It's our public persona. It's what we want the world to see. And it's our mother's influence. The left side is our true inner private self. So if we cover up this guy's left eye, when When we look at that right eye, this guy's intense. I mean, hyper focused, super intense individual. Can that be a blessing and a curse? Yeah, absolutely. That intensity will drive him and make him accomplish what he sets out to accomplish.
Right. I'm sorry. I was talking and had it on mute. So look at that eye. Look at how it looks. It looks very focused, looks very intense. So you can actually literally see what what this doctor is saying. Dr. Todd, doesn't he look very focused when you see this? Like he's really focused on whatever he is trying to do. He is serious. You know what I'm saying? And now watch when he breaks this whole thing down. Because when you see the other side, it's going to be like, what?
But that intensity can be off-putting to those around him. Now, when we cover up, I hate this part. And when we cover up that right eye and just look at that left eye, this is his true inner private self. I always go with the first thing that I notice and what comes to my mind.
Bro. Let's go back to the other side first, because I gotta put this on the big screen. So this side, this side looks relaxed and just okay. I'm focused. I'm chilling. You know, I'm really focused on what the eyes on the prize, right? Honey, when he do the other side, look at this.
Putting to those around him. Now, when we cover up, I hate this part. And we cover
like not look like. Bitch, I'll kill you. Child, man, I never listen. You got one side that look real calm, the other side look like, honey, honey. Look at this. Look at the difference. Look at this. Boom. I gotta take care of the business, gotta do this, that, the other, whatever, make sure everything is all right.
Those around him. Now, when we cover up, I hate this part. And when we cover up that right eye and just look at that left eye, this is his true inner private self. I always go with the first thing that I notice and what comes to my mind. And this guy's kind of uncaring. He's almost hateful. And it's, God, I hate saying those things like hateful to describe another human being, but it's what I see. I'm just reading the tea leaves. Notice how unlevel his eyes are. This is a sign of a concussion, a traumatic brain injury. Did he have a physical concussion? My guess is yes. You fall off a horse in sports, get in football, get knocked out or anything like that. You can also have what's called an emotional concussion. You can have so much stress that it literally concusses your brain just like you hit your head on that concrete. So it's kind of interesting. His eyebrows, very different heights. This is a sign that there was parental stress. He probably had less than a stellar relationship with a parent or a step parent. Again, don't know his history. His eyebrows are very high set. This comes across as aloof. He's got high standards, but he chooses which standards he's going to apply to his life. I'm a little uncomfortable saying that. I'm just reading based on what his left eye tells me. Underneath his eyes, some pretty significant adrenal lines. The other lines that come out of the corner and sweep across the face. This indicates he's been under quite a bit of stress. We all are under stress. That's never the question. It's do we adapt or do we maladapt? When these lines get like this, there's some adaptation to stress. Obviously, the stress in his world is probably huge, but probably a lot of it's self-inflicted. The other thing, we look at the tip of his nose, very gourmand nose. This guy's a quality over quantity individual. Again, with that uncaring, hateful side that I see, some of this quality stuff he might obtain in less than stellar ways, might be some untoward there. Hairline, very uneven. This indicates he probably enjoyed his teen years. I guarantee his parents did not. Probably very rebellious as a teen. Health-wise, obviously, some stress issues I'd be very concerned with. He does have the beginning of a hook-shaped line here. This is a prostate marker. He does have some discoloration up in the corner of his eyes. It's called the inner canthus. This is the blood sugar. But the big thing is a traumatic brain injury. And how much that affects him, hard to tell, but it'd be something I wouldn't ignore if I were his physician. So that's Jay-Z. Didn't totally enjoy reading his face. Don't ever like to speak words that are felt as unkind, but again, just have to read the tea leaves. Hope you enjoyed.
Bro, what? Man, when I saw this page and there was too much, I said, what the? And it makes sense though. So let's go into, he also.
Hi, I'm Dr. Todd Frisch and welcome to Why.
He also did P. Diddy. Watch when he did P. Diddy, y'all. Hold on. Let me find, here's P. Diddy. Okay, let's see this. He also did Beyonce.
It's always to
check out his page because it's awesome. But I'm just going to go through these, the ones that I'm seeing, and please check his thing out. I'm gonna try to get him on my show because this is amazing, and maybe we could like have him read a few faces and just whatever, and then get people to buy his book. But I think this is really an interesting science. People might say it's pseudo, but he is breaking it down because when you look at it, you can see it. You can actually literally see when you split the face in half. You can see how one side look unhinged, the other one look calm, like this. You know what I'm saying? So let's go.
Difficult to do a facial diagnosis on someone that's done something untoward. In this case, this guy owns the dealership on untoward. So it's hard not to see the negatives. It's hard to be intellectually honest, but I'm going to just do a facial diagnosis on him. And let's try to understand who he is and why he did some of the things he did. So P. Diddy is a bucket face. There's 9 face shapes. It's shaped like a bucket. I have a bucket head. So these people tend to be pretty bright, very curious, intellectually persistent, thought leader, but we tend to overthink. I always say we can think of creative problems for every solution on Earth. But you can't look at this picture and not notice the eyes. So I'm going to go through a number of things here that'll help you understand exactly who he is. So if you'll notice his eyes, the whites, there should be white on the right and the left, but not on the top or the bottom. In his case, he's got white 3 sides. It's known as lower sympaku. It's actually a Japanese term, means white 3 sides. This is a sign of fanaticism and addictions. So he's fanatical and he's prone to addictions. Look, I couldn't whistle a tune that this guy sang. I'm not a fan of rap, and I'm not a fan of opera. Look, I offended a whole group of people, 2 different areas, but I don't listen to him, and I couldn't, as I said, I couldn't whistle a tune. But his eyes tell me that I'm not fond of him. Now, let's take this a little deeper. When we look at a face, the right eye is what we want to show to the world. It's our public persona. It's our mother's influence. The left side is our true inner private self. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cover this guy's left eye. And when we look at his right eye only, this is intense and it's anger. But the disturbing is when you look at the other side. There's hate, there's disdain, there's just an uncaring energy. I believe this guy could push you down the stairs just with the same emotion that if he gave you a hand to lift you up when you fell. It's an uncomfortable look. And I get it. We all have an opinion on this guy, and we've already tried him and convicted him. And but I'm just telling you what I see on his face. If I didn't know who he was, I would give you the same diagnosis. His eyebrows are kind of peaked. So this guy is a person that likes action and attention. This is common to that kind of energy. His nose tip, he's got a very gourmand nose. So he likes the finer things in life. He will be very addicted to the finer things in life and those things that can get you there. His ears are different heights. So this often indicates either a difficult or severed relationship with parents. My guess is his parents were either divorced or one of them wasn't there, him growing up. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him in that regard. But here's the interesting thing. Sometimes the diagnostic indicator is what should be there and isn't. And this is, for me, the single most disturbing thing on this man's face. If you notice my lines that come from here down, they're incredibly deep. They look like somebody chiseled them in there. These are called falling lines. Falling means purpose and spiritual strength. By the time you're 30, you should have some. I know I'm on this earth. I know what my Creator put me on this earth to do. I am passionate about it. I have deep, deep spiritual strength. These come from wanting to help mankind. This guy has no helping mankind in any cell of his body. It is a disturbing marker. And again, sometimes it's what should be there and becomes a diagnostic indicator. And again, Not a fan of doing this kind of diagnosis. Health-wise, he's got some liver issue. The emotional liver is anger. If you look at his eyebrows, they're very thick. Eyebrows are about passion, pride, temperament. What's the root of temperament? Well, it's temper. This guy's got a temper that will be at the forefront. This guy he's just got deep-seated anger issues that go back way before he was famous. Very strong constitution, can push his body way past its physical limits. I'm sure he put things into his body that to the normal person would take him out. Not him with his strong constitution. Pretty significant lung weakness. So again, sad to do these faces, but it's also probably important because if we see this in other people, we can speak into their lives and maybe turn them away from making the decisions this guy made.
All right, so let's do Kanye. Let's go.
Kanye West. So my video guy, JJ, who I love to pieces, said, I want you to read this face. I have never had as much difficulty reading a face in my entire career. And I've read faces for 4+ decades. This is a shocker to me. He's an enigma wrapped in a riddle. And I'll just go through this. So his ears are small, which means he's not a risk taker. And everything else in his face says, I can do anything I want. I'll take any risk I want and do anything I want to do. And yet that's there. It's absolutely fascinating. His ears are also high set, which means he's very realistic and doesn't like the limelight. He's a very famous man. I believe he's a rap artist. Look, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, Mr. West, but there's 2 genres of music I don't care for: opera and rap. It's not appealing to me. I know people love both. I don't happen to be that person. So realistic and doesn't like the limelight doesn't go with this guy's persona whatsoever. It's absolutely fascinating. And then there's the right and left eye. So the right eye is what we show to the world as our public persona, and it's our mother's influence. The left eye is our true inner private self and our father's influence, and they're virtually identical. I just don't see that typically. And it's just, again, one of those...
I'm going to say this is another thing that he's probably not going to bring up is these furrow lines at the top. That usually means that a person is either like under a lot of mental like stress, mental illness. When you see these furrow lines like at the top, that's usually like a sign of mental illness. Just so you know.
Enigma type situations I don't get. I have the sense he's kind of living 2 lives. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. It could be a very, very bad thing, or it could be just he's this person here on stage and he's this person here in life. I don't know, but I've never been this buffaloed by a face in my entire life. Now, shape of face, he's a combination between a tree and an iron face, which again throws everything logically to the wind. So the iron face, they're strong, stable, stubborn. Given a job, they're going to get it done. They're very diplomatic, persistent. The tree face means he's deeply rooting, take the winds of life very well, doesn't like to be trimmed back, likes to grow on his own, likes to spread his branches, protect. His earlobes are attached to his face, the side of his face, which means he's very attached to family. Now, that attachment can be very positive. It can be very toxic. A very toxic relationship. You'll see this a lot with women that stay with an abusive husband because they feel family so important at the expense of their own health. His temples are very indented, which means temples represent your spleen, but your body's ability to be happy. And part of me just senses he's just not happy. There's just a lack of joy in this man's life. And again, it doesn't go with the power of that iron face. I am buffaloed. That incredibly powerful jaw, which is about determination. It's just a bizarre thing. Health-wise, very strong constitution. Again, I always look at health. He's a little bit kidney deficient. When you see kidney deficiency, one of the ways men will strengthen their kidney energy is sex. So now that eventually doesn't work, and this can get into some real kind of tawdry things, but He's also got some lines that kind of come out and sweep down here. They're adrenal lines. It's definitely greater on the left. So the left side of the face is male. Been some stress with male, and maybe stress with himself. With him, it wouldn't surprise me that would be the correct answer. Some intestinal weakness. There's just some deep lines that go through here. There's a little bit dip in that. The emotion of the large intestine is despair. So he's got the potential to have what's called lower sympacu, white three sides. So there's some addiction. But again, living two lives, I mean, schizophrenia would jump into. I'm looking at JJ now at the camera here. Sorry. But I would say there's a very strong possibility that there's enough weirdness here that there's some serious emotional issues. I'm at a loss. And Kanye, give me.
Did I call it when I said he had those lines on his forehead? That normally, that furrowed like top of the forehead is usually an indicator of mental illness. Why? The intestines, most mental illness is really about being able to reuptake serotonin. So when you have those deep lines in your intestinal area, that is a sign of like mental.
Call. We need to talk. I got to figure out who the heck you are. So I didn't enjoy this. I hope you did.
So let's go into Beyonce. Let's see what her reading is. So listen,
I'm a Nat King Cole guy. I'm a Beatles kind of guy, but I'm sure.
I am nerding out. When I found this page, honey, I have been nerding out all day long. So, but I wanted to share you guys my little nerdy stuff I like to do.
Sure, you did very well in the music world, according to what I do know about you. I don't know much about you personally. The other problem I have with a lot of famous actors, actresses, singers, performers is it's hard to get a picture of them without makeup or that have been altered in some way. It's tough on me as a face reader. I got to the point, the more the makeup, the more I knew someone was hiding. Now, I don't think that's the case with people that are professional that have to have makeup. They have whole teams of people that make people up. But to the average person, if you use a lot of makeup, I'm always thinking, what are you hiding? Just my opinion. So on this picture of her without makeup and with makeup, don't know when in her life this was. I don't know her age. Don't know if this is what she looks like today. Beautiful young lady. No one can deny that. Now, there are 9 face shapes. She's mostly a fire face. So fire faces, they're very bright, but they're incredibly sensitive. Too sensitive. They just, this is the person that walks through that perfume department in that department store, Macy's, or whatever it might be, and just has a headache. They just cannot tolerate that kind of thing because of that sensitivity. The interesting thing with her is the right and left eye. And again, I've got 2 pictures of her. I'm going to go with the one without the makeup because the other one, she's smiling and it changes everything. There's lines that form. The eyes become friendlier. Well, shouldn't they when you smile? I mean, so sometimes it's hard to get a face where we can actually give a good diagnostic indicators on it simply because it's hard to find people sometimes not smiling in a picture. But in this picture, if we cover up her left eye and look at her right eye, which is what she shows to the world, there's a hint of anger. I don't know what that's about. Does that have to do with female? Could be. Is she angry at herself? Could be. I don't know. When we do the opposite, we cover up the right eye and only look at the left eye. This is a little, got my attention. And I sat a while and had to just let it flow into my soul and just let the word come out that described it. Actually, were 2 words. She seems a touch lost. And she seems a little empty. It is so sad for me to say that. And look, I don't know you, but you're someone's daughter. Someone loves you. Lots of people love you professionally, but it's almost inconceivable that we would see empty and lost in someone that has so much. Interesting eye. Again, I'm just a messenger here. Don't go shooting the messenger. Eyebrows extremely high set. Anything high in the body, just think high standards. She has very, very high standards and will be demanding and want those standards to continue. Don't think that's a bad thing in an artist with her power and her success. I think she's earned that right to maintain those high standards. But it can come across as rather aloof and somewhat haughty to people. Again, I don't know what it'd be like to leave my house and have everybody know who I was. I think it would be uncomfortable. and I might become somewhat haughty if that were the case and just kind of stay away. She's also got these eyebrows that really come in hard. Even on the smiling picture, they're coming in. This is a sign of being hypercritical. Now, again, if she applies this to her career, that's a very positive thing. If she applies this to relationships and friends, it's not going to go so well. So need to probably lighten up on that a little bit from the being aloof and hypercritical. Sometimes what's diagnostic is what we would like to be there and isn't, and that she does not have these lines. They're called Fa-Ling, F-A-L-I-N-G. Fa-Ling means purpose and spiritual strength. Now, the first picture, she made very young. She's smiling in the second one. Some people call them smile lines. And these lines indicate purpose and spiritual strength. It's almost inconceivable that someone as successful as her hasn't found her purpose and spiritual strength. But this says that she might be struggling a little bit with that. You can fill those things in to a certain degree, but not this much. I mean, there's nothing there. And this picture on the left is her without makeup. So I find that interesting. That with that lost and empty just gets my attention a little bit. I kind of hurt for her. My heart just feels for her because the world sees her as this incredible success, multimillionaire, and yet I'm picking up things that I'm not totally comfortable sharing. Chin is pointed. This is all about sensitivity. Also is an indicator she needs to be around people, but she can be moody and indecisive at the same time. Health-wise, I think she's very healthy. I think she has a little bit of a tendency towards low blood sugar, some hypoglycemia. If she doesn't eat, she'll get kind of cranky. But it was an interesting face to read. Probably, other than some infamous people, it was the most requested face for me to read. And so hope you enjoyed meeting.
So that was Beyonce. Let's look into Trump and Kamala Harris. Let's watch.
The former president of the United States, Donald Trump. Oh, I hear half the audience go, oh, and the other half are screaming joyfully. The guy, his face causes people to choose sides. So let's talk about who Donald Trump is. He is a classic iron face. Winston Churchill, iron face. Hillary Clinton was an iron face. Iron faces are the three S's. They're strong, they're stable, they're stubborn. Give them a job, they're going to get it done. We always like to look at the right, left eye. Very interesting eyes. When we cover that left eye and just look at the right eye, you see someone that is extremely intense. And he is. You try not to pay attention to these folks, but again, a lot of these people are in the news. He was the president, so it's hard to be intellectually honest. But again, I'm just giving information. I'm not going for affirmation on this thing. His left eye, there is anger with a hint of sadness. Does that have to do with a male? Possibly, because it's only on that left side. Don't know much about his family, his history, his father, that kind of stuff. But again, there's some anger with a hint of sadness. Eyebrows very straight. This means he's very practical, very straightforward, prefers to do things on his own. This guy wants to just be in charge in that regard. They're also very thick and somewhat unruly. So the eyebrows are about passion and temperament and pride and leadership. So he has a lot of those qualities. And so he's going to be very enthusiastic, very intense, and he'll be impulsive when he's under stress. He can be somewhat domineering, but at the same time, very confident. So these eyebrows scream that. He can be easily frustrated, and that'll go towards anger. So again, that's his eyebrows. So let's look at his eyes. Very wide set. So he's a big picture guy. He sees the big picture. He would make as an accountant that hyper-focused, beady-eyed, that's not his strength. He needs to hire people that can do that for him because he's more of a big picture person. Actually, the widest eyes of all the candidates out there. They're extremely narrowed, which means he has acute perceptive abilities, but he's also wary and he can be very suspicious. Underneath his eyes, obviously, you can't ignore the puffiness that's there. So this is a kidney deficiency entity. Does he have kidney problems? It doesn't look that way. I don't see the other markers that would tell me we're got some serious kidney issues going on. But the emotion of the kidney is fear. And when you have this, that will run the gamut of being fearful all the way to fearless. And they can happen on the same day for this guy. So it's an interesting tendency that's there. Deep falling lines, this guy knows his purpose. He's living his purpose. He has spiritual strength. And again, I know that's going to offend some people, but Tim Walz has the same thing. So, and his are deepest, Tim Walz. Cheeks are slightly flat. So when you see flatness in the cheeks, these people tend to resist authority. They prefer to work alone. They can be a touch moody, and they like to avoid conflict. Cheekbones are high. This is about high standards. Two sides of that coin, very high standards. So kind of everybody gets a chance, but if you don't match his standards, you're not going to get a second chance. You get one shot with this guy. Bravo, very dominant Bravo. Bravo's about control. This guy, not only does he like to be in control, he needs to be in control. This is a very strong feature on his face. You look at a side view, he's got an extremely dominant, by far the most dominant of all the candidates we've been talking about. Lips, very straight line between his lips. Here you go. I'm going to hear half the people out here screaming. This is a guy that talks straight. Lying.
And let me just say this was done before he became the president again. So this is not even talking about who he is right now. So if anyone just thinks, the bottom line is there's a science to this. I want you guys to check it out because I've been nerding out on this all day.
Isn't a big part of his life. So I know that offends 50% of you, but just the tea leaves. Health-wise, got some kidney deficiency, got these deep creases right here. These are inherited liver indicators. Chances are there's some alcoholism in the family tree would be my guess, and they're pretty dramatic. But anger is the emotion of the liver. So when you spend a lot of time being very angry, these lines will show up there. Definitely has the prostate hook-shaped line there, and we're left with his extremely strong constitution. This guy's got a strong body, and he can push it way past its physical limits. That is ex-President Trump. Hope you enjoyed meeting him. All right, let's meet Kamala Harris. 9 face shape. She's pretty classic jade face. Jade faces, just as jade is hard, jade faces tend to be a little hard, almost somewhat aloof. Think of famous people that are jade faces. Ava Gardner she dumped Frank Sinatra. My guess is she was probably hardened by life as opposed to being the classic jade face. I think there's been some things in her life that have caused her to be a little hardened. So again, I'm just reading the tea leaves, not trying to make a call on this thing. Again, we look at the eyes. Right eye is what we show to the world, public persona, mom's influence. Left is a truer inner private self. When we cover up that left eye, that right eye that shows up is very intentional and very intense. The left eye, that's anger. And it's just anger. Can I give math to that? Can I give parameters to that? I'm just telling you, the people that do this, we would see this as an anger issue. And that's kind of a hidden thing. It'll come out at times. And I don't watch the news, so I don't pay much attention to that. Hairline's rather interesting. She's got a very uneven hairline. This indicates she enjoyed her teen years. Her parents probably did not. Usually, they tend to be a little rebellious in their teen years, but for sure, she's going to rebel against conformity. Status quo is not something she's interested in. She's going to rebel against conformity. She'll want to push the limits in that regard. Good trait, bad trait? We'll find out if she becomes president. Brow bone, pretty dominant brow bone for a female. Brow bone's about control, so she likes being in control and she needs to be in control. I don't think that's a negative trait for a politician, because if they're going to be calling the shots, especially at that level, you probably need that energy. Eyebrows, they're kind of curved, which there's an approachability of perennials that very common in women, but you don't see that as often in men. The other third is kind of thin. This has 2 possible meanings. It could be some low thyroid. It's called a Hertog sign in Western medicine. Indicates some thyroid issues. It also can indicate a lack of sibling support. I don't know if she had siblings, but chances are there wasn't a whole lot of support there. If you'll notice in her upper eyelid, especially on that right side, notice how much more droopy it is on that right side. This is a gallbladder marker, but it has to do with internalized anger. That anger probably had to do with the female. Could be her. She could be angry at herself. Again, it's hard to know who this is, but it definitely is a more of a female indicator. Underneath the eyes, again, you'll see more puffiness on that right side, and that has to do with unshed tears. And again, that has to do with the female. There's also an adrenal line that's a little more dramatic on that left side. There's some stress, again, with the female. Again, don't know her history, don't know what her relationship was with her mom. Cheeks are indented. This is a sign that she's lacking something. Oftentimes it's oxygen. You'll see this a lot in smokers. When they smoke a long time, they smoke for 40 years, and they get these real indentations. They're lacking oxygen. But this says she's lacking something. Don't know what that is. People that have this tend to be restless, and they're kind of seeking inner peace. So let's dig that a little deeper, and we'll talk about these lines that come out from the corner of the eye. They're called falling lines. If you look at my face, mine are really, really deep. I'm on this earth doing exactly what I was meant to do. I was put on this earth to do what I'm doing right now. I love reading faces. I don't love reading politics, the political faces, but been asked to do so. Notice that her falling line is deeper and more pronounced on the right side. So when we see one more dramatic than the other, this is an indication that there's an awareness of life's purpose, but not living quite accordingly to that full creative and spiritual potential that's there. Or something is blocking it. There could be something or someone that's blocking that to come out. Chin, extremely squared off chin. I mean, it's dramatic. It's as strong of a square chin as you'll ever see. This is about someone that's very strong-willed and very idealistic, and very strong-willed, very idealistic. Lips, okay. I'm going to get crankiness from the crowd here, but there's a little waviness in those crowds. You'll see this in a lot of actors and actresses. So between the lips, if there's a straight line, they're a straight talker. If it's a wavy line, sometimes they don't speak the truth as often as they could or should. Look, I'm not making a call here. I'm reading the tea leaves. Please don't send me hate mail. I'm a nice guy. And I got a nice dog sitting right here named Lambo, so I'm a dog lover. Health-wise, some kidney deficiency, definitely some adrenal issues, got some gallbladder weakness. My guess is she doesn't digest fats real well, get some gas and bloating. Perhaps that's why she always wears the same suit. Somebody that's in charge of her clothing, make her wear something different. She's absolutely in some different color every time. I don't notice much, but I noticed that from a fashion standpoint. So that is Kamala Harris. Hope you enjoyed meeting her and get to know her a little deeper.
All right, so let's go into the art and understanding of what is Chinese face reading. We're going to go to a thing, and then we're going to go to Bill Cosby.
Have you ever looked in the mirror and wondered what your face reveals about you? What your eyes and your nose, your mouth might tell you about your health, your talents, and even your destiny? Grab a mirror and come with me as we start to explore the field of face reading.
Hi, I'm Hillary. Welcome to Wise Heart. I have been practicing acupuncture and Oriental medicine for many years and have found the practice of Chinese face reading to be the most amazing aspect of the medicine. And today I'm going to introduce you to this practice to help you understand yourself and others at a deeper level. What exactly is Chinese face reading? It is an ancient technique that goes back thousands of years where we look at features, lines, shapes of our face in order to offer us more insights into who we are and the lives that we lead, what inspires us, what we're talented at, and who we are. Chinese face reading looks at the energy and story behind your features. Every feature on our face holds a clue and a meaning. So a person with a broad forehead suggests that they're very good thinkers. Information comes in, it's how we think, it's how we process information. So a broad forehead has a lot of space in order to process a lot of information. They tend to be smart, sometimes stuck in the head. How about the eyes? Do you have really big eyes? It means that you're really interested and you take in a lot of information. If you have smaller eyes, you're overwhelmed perhaps. You don't want to take in anymore. How about the nose? A strong, prominent nose? That's related to leadership ability and willingness to take risks. Now we're just scratching the surface here. Each part of our face reveals something about us, about the story of who we are, where we're going, and how we feel about things, our innate talents and challenges. Over the next few videos, I'll teach you how to read your own beautiful face and others too. Join me for the next video when we dive more deeply into the elements.
So we're going to get into Bill Cosby, and then we're going to get into some of the things that some other people, we're going to go into how to read your own face, because I think this is an important skill. I think it might actually help people out to know this type of a skill. So let's go.
Let's meet Bill Cosby. It is so difficult to read faces of people I know and know about them. It's difficult to be intellectually honest. And when you're reading faces, the key is to be as intellectually honest as you can. We know his history. We know who he was, what he became, and it is sad. So I'm just going to read what is here and explain it, and hopefully you'll be enlightened into who Bill Cosby is. So there are 9 face shapes. He's a bucket head, and bucket heads are the thought leaders, very intellectually persistent. They like to put the things in their bucket. They like to come up with creative solutions to problems. So he's a deep thinker. And that, from a comedic standpoint, that is very beneficial. He'll find humor in things most people wouldn't even think about being humorous. So obviously, if you looked at his career, he had Fat Albert and all those kind of things that he found great humor in. His ears are very high set. They're above the corner of the eye. So this indicates he's a very realistic kind of guy. His cheeks are flat, and they're just kind of this way. Most people have nice rosy red cheeks. That's a very positive. Cheeks are about confidence. When they're flat, it indicates he tends to resist authority and he can be very, very moody. His nose, a very wide nose, which means he's very spontaneous. And then it's turned down. You don't see his nostrils. So when you see the nostrils, it tells one thing. If they're turned down, you see nothing there. It indicates he's skeptical. He's very shrewd, and probably he's probably good with money. Is one of the things we look at with that. However, the thing that I want to point out that I find disturbing. So when we look at a face, our right side of our face is what we want to show the world. It's our public persona. It's our mother's influence. The left side is our true inner private self, and that's our father's influence. When you cover up his left eye and look at his right eye, he's kind of intentional. But then when you cover up the opposite eye and look at who he really is, he's angry. I mean, you cannot look at that guy and not see the hostility and anger. Something I don't think I ever saw in Bill Cosby, but we don't see what's on that left side. There's so much energetic power coming off that right side of the face, you can't even see who the person really is. Do this with politicians, it'll freak you out just a little bit. Health-wise, he's in declining health, so there's a lot of things going on here. He's got this deep crease right here, that's a liver indicator. Motion of the liver is anger. Part of this looks inherited. Part of it is he probably put some things in his body he shouldn't have. The eyelids represent gallbladder. If you look at that left eyelid, it's got some lumps and bumps. Probably has some gallstones there, or at least some sluggishness in his gallbladder. The emotion of the gallbladder is of course, anger in my world. Underneath his eyes, some kidney deficiency. A kidney governs bones, so arthritis, those kind of things come into play. The water element, kidney, bladder, sex organs, and hormones are involved in this. So there's lots of things you can read into it. It does have kind of a hook-shaped line right here on his chin. This indicates prostate, goes with this water element. But what I want you to pay attention to are all the lumps and bumps on his forehead, and they're black, and on his cheeks, and the lumps and bumps, and they're black. So this is emotions. And the emotion, this represents your large intestine, or intestines, large intestine, among others, and this is your lungs. So in traditional Chinese medicine, the metal element is your lung and large intestine. The emotion of this is despair. Is this man depressed? Absolutely. But this goes a lot deeper. When you're depressed, I'm depressed. This is the reason why. Despair, there's a hopelessness component. And sadly, Bill Cosby is now hopeless.
Wow. And it's crazy to like be able to read that and have to like be able to read that and not feel like, damn, that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into the science of it all. You know, I've like showed a few celebrities. Let's break down the science.
Have you ever wondered who you are? Have you wondered what you're here to do with your life? Have you wanted to see into your future? What if your emotional patterns, your family history, your purpose, and even your future was looking at you in the mirror? Your face is a treasure map of you. Face reading is a key to the kingdom, your kingdom. It's a way to see who you truly are, what you survived, and what your spirit came here to become. Your face has the answers. Are you ready to look at your treasure map? In this video, I'll explain what's illuminated during the face reading and why it could be useful to you. So, what is a face reading? Face reading is an ancient practice rooted in Chinese medicine and Taoist wisdom, but it's also alive in other cultures like Ayurveda and even Western culture. Face reading is also very intuitive. We're reading faces all the time, all of us. Taoist wisdom suggests that the face is a microcosm of nature. Face reading, physiognomy, or mian shang, means face looking. It's the art of interpreting lines, patterns, shapes, and features, expressions on the face to reveal insights about our character, emotional patterns, health tendencies, and life path. Each feature of the face reveals a story. The forehead tells us about how we're thinking and how we receive information.
our intuitive ability, or our need for practical learning through doing. The eyes reflect our heart, our emotions, our spirit. Our eyebrows reflect our physical hardiness, boundaries, and how we make decisions in life. The nose speaks of self-worth, how we lead, and how we prefer to interact with the world, how we spend our money and our values. The mouth and the lips reflect how we experience sensual pleasure, how we give and receive love and nourishment, how we enjoy the physical senses. The chin reveals our willpower, our determination, and how we will live the later years of our lives. What's beautiful about face reading is it's not about labeling or judging. It's not about a good or a bad feature. It's about our inner beauty and how it shines through us. It's about understanding and honoring who we are, our unique talents, who we came here to be. It's about understanding and honoring the truth of who you are. Just like the rings on a tree, our face reveals our patterns, how seasons evolved within us, how we've lived our lives so far, and where we're headed. Our facial lines and features reveal where we've been, what we've weathered, and where our energy naturally wants to go. In 5-element Chinese medicine, each of us carries the energy of the elements. Face reading helps identify which elements are strongest in you and how they express themselves. Do you lead with wood energy? How is your vision, your drive, and your determination? Do you carry fire energy? We all do. That displays as joy, charisma, emotional warmth, and an interest in connecting with others. Or maybe your earth energy is strong. Our earth energy points to our stability, how we nurture, and how we have been nurtured. Knowing your elemental strengths can help you live your life with more ease, alignment, and purpose. And here's the thing, our face changes. Our faces are always evolving. Lines don't appear just with age, but from emotions, our thoughts, and our intentions. A face reading is like reading a living document. It can show you where you're in flow and where your energy might be blocked or needs support. A face reading is a conversation between who you've been and who you're becoming. So when someone comes for a face reading, I'm looking at the story of you. The treasure map of your face offers insight into you, behind your features. I'm asking, what wants to be seen right now? Where is your spirit calling you? What gifts have you carried your whole life but maybe forgotten? Where are you trying too hard? What part of you is ready to bloom? What are your great talents? I want to help you love yourself more. Face reading is both diagnostic and intuitive. A face reading blends both ancient wisdom, deep presence, compassion, and a desire to help you remember who you are. A face reading can help you understand your strengths and gifts. It can help you embrace yourself with more love and compassion. It's helpful to help us recognize our emotional patterns. It's important to be who you are. We're all unique and bring something special to the world. Our family, our community, our friends. What makes you special and you? We can also identify ancestral inheritance and gifts that come from previous generations to bloom into who you are. Your health is also reflected in your features. Health is an energy flow. When we're in alignment, we flow better within ourselves and we're healthier. A face reading can help us align more clearly with our purpose. When we're living our purpose, we live with greater ease. And of course, a face reading offers the opportunity to experience feeling seen. It's profoundly life-changing. It certainly was for me. This is powerful medicine. How wonderful to connect with a soul's reflection. It's part of a larger tapestry, the tapestry of Taoist wisdom, that sees a human being as being a bridge between heaven and earth. We're not here to fix ourselves. We're here to remember what is already whole and live from that place. If you're curious about your own face map or want to learn more about this work, subscribe to Wise Hearts Connect. If you'd like to go deeper, reach out for a face reading of your own. Your face holds a story. Let's read it together.
And shouts out to her and everybody else. Listen, let me tell you this. We have different tools. We have the Odoo file, we have face reading, we have different ways that a person can diagnose themselves to know, okay, you can look at your own mirror and see if you're having a problem. You can look into the mirror and say, okay, am I suffering from, this is
metaphysics theory. It can go very complicated, But today I'm just going to talk about a very basic of the face reading. A very experienced face reader can tell a person's fortune, the current luck, and also the health condition just by looking at the face. For most of us, we just want to have the basic knowledge so we can always study more in the future. And the first part is a face map and the related age of a person. And very roughly, a face can be divided into 3 parts. The top part, that's the forehead, is related to younger ages. And the middle part, around the nose area, is related to the middle age. And the lower third part, including the chin, is related to older ages. So if you want to see the luck of younger age, you can look at the forehead. And if you want to find out the luck for the older age, you can look at the chin. And the first 14 years is related to the ears. The ears are related to the luck from your ancestor or your parents, so it's inherited. And for the forehead, is usually considered 15 to 30 years old. And for the eyebrow area, it's 31 to 34 years old. And for the eyes, it's 35 to 40 years old. And the nose area is 41 to 50 years old. And the mouth and chin will be after the 50 years old. So that's how we divide the face map according to the Chinese face reading. And here is a very basic chart for the face map and the related areas. You can see the forehead is related to career and fortune, and the eyebrow area is related to siblings and properties. And outside the eyebrows and eyes are related to marriage, and below the eyes are related to children. And the top of the nose between the 2 eyebrows is the life palace area. That's the center of your spirit. And the nose is generally related to health and illness. And the bottom of the nose around the nostril area is related to your wealth and the money. And the below the nose is related to stability. And the lips are related to willpower. And the chin is related to supportive friends and relationships with your subordinates or people working for you. So we'll take a look at the face map according to the ages. The first part is for birth until 14 years old, and that's related to years. And it's a reflection of your ancestors. If your ancestor did a lot of good deeds and accumulate a lot of good karma, that means you are going to enjoy good fortune in this life. In general, smaller years means impulsive personality and not too close to your friends or family. And if you have big or thick ears, you have a more stable personality, and you might come from a big family, so you have a lot of resource from your family. And the next one is the forehead. The forehead represents the age before the 30 years old. So it includes your childhood, your youth, your school years, and maybe the beginning of working years. And the forehead represents career, wisdom, intelligence, and your fortune. And it's also related to your helpful people or relationship with your superiors. And the wide, big forehead is indicating fame and prosperity. That means you get help from your parents or superiors, so you have better chance for success. And if you have any scar, mole, or any skin problem or discoloring in the forehead, that will reduce your luck. And the top corners on both sides, you can see it's related to traveling or moving. If this area is good without any skin problem or coloring, you can enjoy good traveling and success by traveling to faraway places. If there's problem in this area, you might be forced to travel or move, and you have to leave your home and travel away from your family and cannot enjoy a stable life. The next one is eyebrows area. That's related to 31 to 34 years old. And this area can be related to properties, siblings, your friends, and relationships. And usually a thick eyebrow indicates the person values friendships and emotions more. And the thin eyebrow can mean the person is rational and sometimes too cold or too self-centered and not very close to friends or family. If you know your problems in your face, you can modify with makeup. It's not the perfect solution, but there's still some effect. And the area that extending from the eyebrow is the marriage area. If there's any scars or discolor in the skin, can mean the problem with marriage or your romance. Our eyes are related to age 35 to 40, and it's an indication of energy, spirit, and good health. And the best eyes are supposed to be clear and bright. It can indicate good health and good spirit. And if the white part of your eyes has the muddy color, it can mean lowered energy and health problems. And the area directly below the eyes are related to children or childbirth. If you have dark circles here or any skin problems, it can affect the chance of having healthy kids. Next, we look at the nose area. The nose is related to age 41 to 50, and it's an indicator of social status, your inner world, your health, and your wealth. If there's any blue or red color on your nose, or you have any skin problems on your nose, it can mean illness. And a good nose shape is tall and straight, and that usually reflects a higher social status and strong will. And the flesh part of the nose indicates money and material luck. So if you have a big fat nose, that means you can enjoy a lot of money luck and the material luck. And a bony nose can mean the person values the spiritual pursuit than the money. The bottom part of the nose that's around the nostrils is related to the wealth. And the nostrils indicates the spending and the management of money. If you have big nostrils, that can mean you are spending a lot of money, then saving the money. And the life palace is the area between the eyebrows, and that's the area showing the person's spirit and the current luck. When the life palace area is dark, that can mean your current energy is low, and you should be more careful and conservative during this time. And if your life palace is bright and shiny, that can mean good luck. And it's an indication to start new project and move forward. If the life palace area is red, that can indicate quarrel or anger. So be careful with the relationship with other people around this time. The next section is about the mouth and the chin. Both of them are related to later stages in life, maybe after 50 years old. Between the nose and the lip area, we call it 人中. That's the area for self-control and stability. And the best shape is long and deep. It indicates mature character and deep thinking. If it's short and shallow, it can mean stubborn or impulsive personality. And the lips are related to willpower. Tighter lips can mean stronger willpower. If a person's lips are always slightly open, that means the person can be influenced by other people easily. And the upper part of the lip is related to father, and the bottom lip is related to mother. And the chin is closely related to luck in the older ages. It's related to supportive friends and relationship with subordinates or younger people. And the best shape for the chin should be round and fleshy rather than thin and narrow. That means you have strong support and you have a very stable life. And some people will even say double chin is better because it indicates good wealth, luck, and abundance in life. So that's a very basic overview of Chinese face reading. I hope you enjoyed this video and talk to you next time.
Meet Oprah Winfrey. Let's find out who she is and why she is who she is. Powerful, powerful woman. But let's explain to you exactly why that is. There's 9 face shapes. She is a combination between a king face and an iron face. Extremely.
All right, so now I just showed you guys the actual face reading, the breakdown. I want to see if you guys are able, based on what you guys have just heard on how to read a face, in your mind, I want you to see if you're able to, before he even says it, break down her face. Let's go.
Rare in a female. It's almost unheard of. The king face is a natural leader. Sees both sides of the fence. Very, very, very good judge of character, but they don't like not leading. It's kind of my way or the highway with a lot of these king faces. I married a king face, so I know this face extremely well. She's also got some iron quality. There's a squareness, almost a Winston Churchill-like. So to sum it up, she's a strong, stable, stubborn leader. Powerful, powerful woman. So let's just kind of pick up on her face. Let's go with the eyebrows because we're just working our way down. Eyebrows, very high set, which indicates she has very, very high standards. Now, wonderful trait. The interesting aspect of this, kind of everybody gets invited to dinner, but if you don't match your standards, you're never getting a second invite. Ever. It's not going to happen. There have been guests on her show that I think truly did meet her standards and they would never come back. Other people would be invited back many, many times. They're unequal heights. That right side is much higher. So it indicates that there was some parental stress in her youth. Probably didn't have a good relationship with one or more parents. I just don't know much about it. Bits and pieces are coming to my head, but I don't know all the details of that. But my guess is her teen years weren't the best. And the reason I say that is her hairline is very wavy. This indicates she probably enjoyed her teen years, but her parents probably didn't. This certainly had a bit of a rebellious nature. She certainly rebels against conformity. So that's not a bad thing. Status quo is not something she's at all interested in because of, again, her face, where her eyebrows are. But that right eyebrow is kind of coming in kind of hard. This indicates she's very critical of herself. The right side of the face is the female side of the face. Left side is the male. Her eyes are very wide set, so she's really a big picture person. She will see what other people don't see, and she'll see it very, very quickly because she really does see the world in a very broad way. Also, the right eye is what we show to the world. It's our public persona. It's our mother's influence. The left is our true inner private self. If you cover her left eye and just look at that right eye, she is very, very much loving, very caring energy. I mean, it exudes this wonderful thing. Her left eye, her true inner private self, there's some sadness there. What's that all about? Yeah, I don't know. But my guess is she's had her share of sadness. How can a billionaire be sad? Yeah, well, a lot of them are. So money doesn't fix things. I've been on both sides of the fence. And one side gives you more options, but doesn't give you happiness. Very deep falling lines. These lines come here. This is a woman of purpose. She's found her purpose. She's living her purpose. She has immense spiritual strength. Cheeks are very full. Cheeks are about confidence. This is a very extremely confident woman. Health-wise, you got this hook-shaped line here. It's kind of a tipped uterus, typically is what you'll see with them. Her gallbladder is very full. That's the puffiness up in this area. A lot of times in a female, it's internalized anger. Anger is the emotion of the gallbladder. Women lose their gallbladder 8-to-1 ratio to men. You can't hear that stat and not ask why. I mean, I can't as a physician. And it's because women internalize stress. We men externalize it. We go to prison. Women internalize it. They lose their gallbladder. She's got really good makeup here, and she's got people that really are good at that. But I've seen pictures of her without. When I've looked at those pictures, a little bit of a blood sugar instability. She's got some hypoglycemic tendencies. This is the 10 in the morning, 2 in the afternoon, tend to crave carbohydrates. carbohydrates, that's the case. There's definitely some kidney deficiency. Kidney governs bone, so joint pain, low back pain is real common. There's some adrenal insufficiency. Her stress coping mechanism has been taxed. But absolutely an amazing woman, powerful, loving, caring, very giving individual, very confident, and amazing human being. Hope you enjoyed meeting Oprah. I know you don't know her.
All right, let's try.
Barack Obama's face have to tell us. So there are 9 face shapes. He's a classic fire face. Very, very, very sensitive individual. Probably too sensitive for that job on some levels, because you just got to be able to kind of have a Teflon approach. Things just got to fall off you. Fire faces tend to hang on to people that nailed them. So I hope that's not the case for him. He seemed to be very classy at all times, but he's pretty sensitive. Next thing we like to pay attention to is the right and left eye. Right eye is what we show to the world, our public persona, mother's influence. The left is our true inner private self. You cover up that when you look at his right eye, he's very caring and very approachable, a trait that he definitely had, and it certainly came across that way. Left eye, he's intense. Very, very intense. So again, is that a good or bad thing? There's no good or bad. It just is in my world of face reading. Eyebrows very, very thick. Indicates he has a very strong constitution, a very healthy body. Kind of a blessing and a curse. The blessing is got a healthy body. The curse is you can push it a little too far and don't have that early warning mechanism that it says you're messing up. They're a little uneven, so the left one's a little higher. This usually indicates a little tendency to be moody, a little overly sensitive. Again, it goes with his fire face. Probably had some difficulties with his parents, especially in his teen years, because this has to do with that time in his life. I'm sure he enjoyed his teen years. I'm not so sure his parents did. So I don't know much about him in that regard, but that would be my guess. He's got incredibly deep falling lines, F-A-L-I-N-G. Falling means purpose and spiritual strength. This is a very purposeful man. Now, his are way too long. You do not want to see those lines go below the corner of the mouth. If they do, it indicates you're under an immense amount of stress. His are actually almost completing in a circle. Some authors will say this is the circle of life. I'm not saying he's close to ending his life, but he's very much completed many of the things he wanted to do, is the way I want to look at this thing. His cheeks, very flat, very large pores on his cheeks. The flatness indicates kind of resist authority. You'll see this in a lot of politicians. Ironically, they're in a place of authority, and yet they tend to resist authority. I'm not so sure that's a good thing or not, but it's just what it is. The pores, I think he's a smoker. I've never seen him smoke, but I'll bet the rest of my hair and ain't got much left that this guy was a smoker. Health-wise, again, healthy guy, very strong constitution. Underneath his eyes, there's some puffiness there. There's a little kidney deficiency. Kidney governs bone, so arthritis can come into play there. There is some lines there that indicate some adrenal issues, been under a lot of stress. I once was teaching a class. I did a picture of him when he started his presidency and then he years there at the end. Pretty dramatic difference. The face changed dramatically. Still a fire face, but the stress really took its a toll on him. And then the big thing is this lung situation. If I were your doctor, I would quit smoking yesterday. So hope you enjoyed meeting our former president, Barack Obama. Have you?
All right, one last one, and then we're going to go to bed. But I just wanted to show you this art because I think it's really cool. I hope that you guys like the show. We're going to go through Justin Bieber, and then we're going to end. But thank you guys. Anyone who stayed, let me know if you like it. Share, subscribe. Hit me in the comments. Let me know if you like this content.
Different with him because he's still very young, but he's been in the public eye for a long time. So I'm going to do a quick DX of him as a youngster, and then I'm going to look at him currently, later in life. So this picture, handsome kid, very thick eyebrows, very strong constitution. He's kind of a bucket face. He's a thinker, enjoys the process of thinking. But the main thing I want to point out here, actually, there's two things. Notice that there's a little bit of puffiness underneath his eyes. That shouldn't be there at this age. This is a kidney indicator. Does he have kidney problems? Absolutely not. The emotion of the kidney is fear. I believe at this point in his life, there was some fear issues. Look, it's just my opinion, but that's an abnormal finding. And then he's got a little upturn, so he had a real, to the corner of his mouth, he's got a little smile there, but even so, he had a very positive happiness about him, but there's some fear going on in here. So let's switch over and look at him today. His face has changed a little bit. In facial diagnosis, not only do we change, we should change. Life happens. things happen in our life that cause our bodies to be marked. There's things that'll show up in our face. So he, as a little child, as younger man, he was a bucket face. He's still got some bucket quality, but there's more length to his face. So this is a tree face. Tree faces, just as tree is deeply rooted, he's deeply rooted. He can take the winds of life pretty nicely. Likes to grow on his own. Doesn't like to be trimmed back. But the gift of a tree face is spread their branches and protect. He became quite wealthy, and chances are he had to protect a lot of people. There were a lot of people depending on him. And so he developed some tree quality. When we look at the right and left eyes, the right eye, which is what we show to the world, he's very focused. This is a guy that's laser focused on what he wants. The left eye, very wary. How did he get there? Probably from fear as a child. Sorry, Justin, if that offends you. I apologize. I'm just kind of seeing what your face has compared to where it was. So I think he's probably been hurt, and he's extremely wary. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. Eyebrows are kind of unequal heights. So this indicates he can be somewhat moody, can be a little oversensitive. Probably had a tempestuous relationship with a parent or a step parent. Again, don't know the guy. I don't know his music. Past my time. I still listen to the Beatles after all these years. His eyes are unequal size. So this indicates he tends to be, again, very skeptical, very wary. I remember the Lieutenant Columbo eye. He had one eye kind of narrow and look at the perpetrator. Cheeks are flat. So this is a guy that resists authority, can be moody, and likes to avoid conflict. Health-wise, very strong constitution. He's a healthy guy. I don't have a lot of concerns with his health. My biggest concern with him would be what caused him to be fearful when he was a little kid. That is still manifesting itself and causing him to be so wary today. Hope you enjoy meeting.
You know what? Before I end, I want to do one last person, and that would be Jim Carrey. Because, man, this stuff is addictive. When you start watching this, like, man, I want to find out. Listen, I'm going to bring him on my channel. I've already reached out to him. But let's go into Jim Carrey. So we've already went through a bunch of different people. Let's go into Jim Carrey.
I've been asked to read his face so many times. I'm fascinated by this guy. And so the picture you're looking at is him kind of today. It's so different than when he was younger. I mean, it's almost like not even the same person. Such a dramatic change. Look, we all change as we age, but this is so dramatic and so different. And I struggled with this face simply because I had a hard time making the read because I know his character. Who didn't watch Ace Ventura and laugh your head off at this and all the movies he's been in? But let's dig a little deeper into this thing. The change is more than we would normally expect. And you got to ask why. Likelihood here is that he's had quite a major shift, both emotionally and spiritually. And let me walk you through why I say that. And we're going to throw up another face of him that was much younger, and you'll see this dramatic difference. So his face shape today is more of a bucket tree face. The bucket is someone who loves to put things in his bucket. He loves the process of thinking. High intellect, just really, really good at analyzing everything. Very analytical, very intellectually persistent, a strategist, a thought leader. And then he's got some length to his face. It's enhanced by the beard, but even so, there's still that tree quality. So tree faces, just as tree is deeply rooted, they tend to be very deeply rooted. They can take the winds of life extremely well. Like to grow on their own, don't like to be trimmed back. Worst job for this guy would be indoors with no windows. Send him straight to hell. It would be very, very bad. But the energy and the gift that a tree face gives is their ability to spread their branches and protect. These people just make the best dads, the best bosses, the best everything. They just love protecting people that are underneath their branches. This was not his face initially. It was more of a king face, a natural leader, a real strong jaw that was there. And that face has kind of gone away. Kind of an odd thing. You don't see this kind of change that often. And then we'll look at the right and left sides of his face, the right eye and the left eye. The right eye is what we show to the world. It's our public persona. It's our mother's influence. The left is our true inner private self. It's our father's influence. So when you cover up that left eye and just look at that right eye, this guy is very focused and very loving. His left eye, when you just cover that up, I looked at it. I got to close my eyes and just let my heart energy walk into it. Here's a guy that's seen it all. I mean, I don't think there's anything in life that he hasn't experienced on all levels, the highs and the lows and everything in between. But it's that eye just says, I've seen it all. And because I've seen it all, I've decided to make a change. And that's why I think this guy has really made a huge change from an emotional and a spiritual standpoint. To hitchhike on that point, his upper eyelids, they're very hooded, and they're extremely hooded. They just kind of come over. So this indicates that they've experienced grief and suffering. This is a gallbladder indicator. So this suffering probably had a lot to do with anger. My guess is, as a younger individual, there was a lot of anger issues with him. Again, I don't know him. I love his work. I love his energy. There's just something about him that is enjoyable to me. His ears, extremely high set. And that has to do with where the top of the ear is into the corner of the eye. In his younger years, they weren't this dramatic. So when you see this high set ears, it indicates they're very realistic and they don't like the limelight. And as he's gotten older, his ears are going higher. How can this guy who is, when he's on screen, he's on the screen. But I think he's at a point in his life where he just no longer cares for the limelight. That's a profound emotional and spiritual change to get to that point. And again, that's why I had such a difficult time reading him in the beginning until I went back and looked at his young face. And again, his young face, he didn't have that high set ears. Interesting to note, these lines coming right here, they're called Falling lines, F-A-L-I-N-G. Falling means purpose and spiritual strength. This is a guy who's found his purpose. He's living his purpose, and he has immense spiritual strength. Ironically, in the younger picture, you'll notice the falling lines come down below the corner of the mouth. This is someone that was under way too much stress. He probably had too much success too early and messed his head up a little bit. Again, I don't know him. I've not read of him. I'm just telling you, he had this extremely long falling line, which is classic too much stress, and now they've come back to a very proper, normal place. This he's grounded himself. I'm fascinated with his face. Also, his temples now are normal, but in the younger picture, they're kind of indented. Temples represent your spleen, but they also represent your body's ability to be happy. So when they're indented, there's just kind of a lack of joy that occurs, and now he's got balance with that. Fascinating face, just absolutely fascinating. Health-wise, healthy guy. He's got some creases right between his eyes. These are liver indicators. Chances are he put some things into his body that weren't the best for him. Got some lines across the forehead, a little bit of an intestinal weakness. He's got some kidney deficiency underneath the eyes. There's some lines underneath there, some adrenal lines. So he's had his own share of stress in his life, haven't we all? So that's Jim Carrey and this dramatic change that has occurred that I think is extremely positive. Hope you enjoyed it.
So listen, guys, I want you guys to support his channel because I think it's a really awesome. I think we need to look into things more like this because I just think it's a really good thing to to know, right? Let me see. I think this is
I've got over 40 years of experience in reading people's faces. I used it to help me really totally understand the patients in front of me, both from a personality standpoint and also from a health standpoint. But it's fun and it's informative. We're going to look at faces and we're going to help you understand that it tells a story. And we're going to help you understand why we like to look at certain people in certain situations based on the shape of their face. There's going to be features of the face that give us this amazing detail, both about health and about personality. So there's all these different things that you can learn from looking at the face. We're going to talk about famous people that are famous because they're famous. They're actors and actresses and that type of thing. We're going to talk about people that are infamous. And these are the people that we can maybe understand where they came from. It's a simple system. We all do facial diagnosis. When you see your child in the morning or a friend, he goes, anything wrong? Something not right? We're going to put legs to what you're seeing. It is accurate. It is, again, it's fun. It's informative. And we invite you to be part of our channel. Thank you.
Please check him out. It's called Why the Face. All right. Much love, everybody. Thank you for those who stayed with me throughout this whole thing. Shouts out.
Mission, trying to get it right. Transition, changing the way that I see life. Transition mind. I'm on a mission, trying to get it right. I'm transitioning my life. Making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh, making a transition. Ooh. position in